My name is Timothy Nabageo from Gumlanya Health Center, and I work as a Aboriginal community worker. It's more important for Bini and Balanda to know the story, telling them story in both languages like English and Gumlinjan. To a layman, always shoulder to shoulder, like walking together.
Skin is very important to Yolngu. The early missionaries and anthropologists and interpreters tried to come up with the best term on what we would call our subsection naming system. So we came up, and it's general right across Australia. It is today known as skin names. Well, skin actually is a cover. Covers everything that's important on your body. As soon as it's exposed, it will rot, disease will go in, and so on. So in regards to sacred sites or sacred stuff that should not be exposed, there is a purpose for that skin to hide it. And once you go past that sacred site or that boundary, it's taboo for Yolngu people, but you have breached that part, and there's no going back. So when you educate people, and a lot of the health workers would use that term, they would not relay that back to the health professionals, but it's a way of getting them to understand and cooperate with treatment and so on. Like when you're trying to teach non-Yolngu this style of messaging or education, it won't work unless you apply it on a daily basis and regularly, and you spend considerable time in the community amongst people, knowing how they understand. So when people say, hey, what's the best way of saying it? Well, it's not really the best way of saying it, it's understanding your listener. That's all it is. So anybody can't, and when you say, oh, can we say this, or is this the right? No. Every moment and every situation is different. So you can't just come up with one word that covers everything. So to understand each and every moment as it comes, that takes time for you to absorb. So if you want Yolngu to absorb your information, your treatment, and what is a scientific fact and evidence, well, you'll need to get them to understand that first. How do you do that? You understand the listener.
We want a strong, consistent message that will hopefully bring up conversation, because that's all you want to do. You want to bring up conversation so then they can get the education, but also we can, as Ballanders, can get the education from the Bini on their, like as I said, you know, they've been here 65,000 years on this earth. As white society, we need to stop, I believe, and really learn from what they have to offer, because there is so much there. So it's not always following that biomedical model. We want to enhance the bush medicine program and all the programs that Bini had prior to our Western society coming here.
So it's very important for a health worker to, you know, when they're starting out on their journey in health, or before they come to community as well, I find, you know, to learn a little bit about that community, you know, learn what makes it tick, have a look at it a little bit differently, you know, like come in with open eyes is a huge thing, you know, open eyes, open heart, you know, don't come in wanting to change the world straight away, you know. We're not looking for Superman, you know, or Superwoman to be coming in. We're looking at someone to come and sit down with us, you know, sit down on the ground with us, hear our stories, you know, listen like to our way, you know, and we'll work together, you know, we'll get through it together, we'll build it up together, you know, and we'll create something magnificent out of it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, for me, you know, all you mob are welcome to, you know, come out here to country and work out here and stuff, and, you know, work alongside of us and you know, we'll develop something beautiful together, you know, that'll be, you know, spoken about for many years to come, future generations. So
we're trying our best here to help the community, help our people to understand the importance of health issues and a healthy skin, healthy lifestyle. Even with the households, we try and educate them with keeping the house clean, even with dishes lying around. We have to actually talk to them in an appropriate way of understanding. We actually go out and try and lay down that understanding for them to understand. It's not like we go out there and, because we have a job to do and our job is really important to us, we have certain ways of talking to people. For example, if we go out to someone's house, we're not there to bully him or, you know, talk in that understanding manner so that that person can understand where we're coming from, why we're trying to spread out this message and why we're there to try and help our people just to stop from affecting scabies and that and spreading around the community. So yeah, we go through a lot of things.
For example, one disease, a lot of the stuff they talk about is all microscopic and it's all invisible. And in our culture, it's all based on the observable universe. So everything's got to be seen. But then when you start looking at something that's invisible, it's sort of like you would think, what's the saying? Point the bone, or they sing you, or curse you. This is what one disease brought to our culture and our people, that can be seen, and it is there, and it's with us, and it's been with us the whole time.
It was Meg, and she spoke in English and I spoke in language, and the guys, they were excited to know the story. The scaby, I was actually found the name in language, Gwenwinju name. It was told that love skin. It works really well, and it's really important to two-way learning.
So that's why we sort of go and give people education to stop that, germs. We sort of, educate both way in English and language. So, that's why it's really, really important for them to keep the healthy home and healthy skin.
just really like take on that surroundings before you go there. A lot of people have these cultural inductions and all that sort of stuff, and which are great things, but understand that each cultural induction that you might get are different, for different areas. Like regularly we're developing one at the moment that's actually for this area, where some of the bigger organisations, they have one standard one. So you go work anywhere, you get that one standard one, But I think it's really good to have a Pacific cultural induction for that Pacific area, So you understand that history of that place where you're going. You understand that certain people, because even though we all Binning or like all Aboriginal people, Indigenous people, we're all different too. Different country, different language, different things have happened to us, Some similar, but there's been some different stuff too, So just really being open to that knowledge and being really open to accept it too, Like if we're sitting down there on the ground and we're having yarn, come sit down with us, Like have that yarn with us,
All Yolngu people has an obligation to country. That's male, female, young and old. It's the country, the animals and the people on land are all in our songlines, all in our paintings. It's a lot of the corroboree that we do in ceremonies relates to this land care and management and being one with Mother Earth. So looking at environmental health, it's like one of the first things I've seen that the Western world accommodates or complements that.
Yeah, it's all about education and learning each other, learning both ways. Like just recognizing a few things and like learning what's the difference,
Like sharing information, learning. We learn from that person learns from us, so we...
So hopefully, like young fellas, like young ones, probably when they get to the job and they know what they're doing, and hopefully they make in the future big change.
Probably be good health workers in that, and they can pass on that knowledge.
Just for our people here, and especially young ones, it's good for him, like to learn and help our own people and our own community. So it's really, really important. Hopefully, young ones will get onto it and make big change. Hopefully, I'll see that big change.
I do want to, say something to all your mob out there, that are health workers, public health teams that are, out there on the forefront, the grassroots level there of community. Your mob are doing a deadly job, You just got to keep believing in yourself, believing in what you do, Like my mother was Aboriginal health worker here in Kakadu in this health centre for 15 years, and I'm the second generation to come through, and the things that my mother achieved in her time, are just unbelievable. And I hope, that I'm able to achieve that, you know what I mean? And my mother struggled like a lot of other people, like she was on the dole, had all the kids, single woman, like looking after all her kids and stuff, no fathers there, anything like that. And, my nana was really sick back in the day there in Royal Down Hospital, and they treated Binning people really bad, like she had kumbu to herself and everything, and food and water pushed to one side of the room, and we walked in to visit her, and it was just heartbreaking. And my mother said from that day on, things have got to change for health for our mob, We've got to help ourselves, we've got to look after ourselves, because these mob here, they don't care about us, So she went to Bachelor College with my younger sister still on her hip, and she worked her butt off in there. And in 1999, she graduated with the highest scores around Australia in Aboriginal health working, and she did this job for 15 years, before she left, and she's happy retirement now out on our community. But it's about, keeping it strong, understanding like your culture, but understanding too, that we can achieve anything that we put our minds to. It's just about always putting one foot in front of the other, being a role model to each other, and not just our people here from our areas, but being a role model to all Binning mob from around Australia, and helping each other achieve and get to whatever level that we want to get to, So I think you're all deadly. I think you're doing a good job, and just keep pushing away at it, I reckon.